Part 1. The journey begins. One morning, Dr. Watson was eating breakfast with his wife. A maid came in. She had a telegram. The telegram was from Sherlock Holmes. Watson read the telegram. Holmes wrote, "Can you come with me? I must go to the west of England. There is a mystery. A man is dead. Come on the 11:15 train. The air is fresh. The scenery is beautiful." Watson's wife smiled. She said, "Go, dear. You look tired. The trip will be good for you. You always like Mr. Holmes's cases," Watson said. "I have many patients, but maybe Dr. Anstruther can help them." He thought for a moment. "Yes, I will go." Watson packed quickly. He learned to pack fast when he was a soldier in Afghanistan. In less than 30 minutes, he was in a cab. He drove to Paddington Station. At the station, Watson saw Sherlock Holmes. Holmes was tall and thin. He wore a long gray coat and a cloth cap. He walked up and down on the platform. He looked excited. "Thank you for coming, Watson," said Holmes. "It is very helpful to have a good friend. The local police are not always good. Please hold our seats. I will buy the tickets." They got on the train. No one else was in their carriage. Holmes had many newspapers. He read and made notes. He thought quietly. Watson watched him. After some time, Holmes put all the papers into a ball and threw them up to the shelf. He looked at Watson. "Do you know about this case?" Holmes asked. "No," said Watson. "I have not read a newspaper for some days." "The London newspapers do not say much," said Holmes. "But I have read everything. This seems like a simple case, but simple cases are often the hardest." "That is strange," said Watson. "Not really," said Holmes. "When a crime is very unusual, there is always a clue. But when a crime looks normal and common, it is harder to solve." Holmes explained the story. He said, "In BOSCOMBE Valley, near the town of Ross in Herefordshire, there is a big landowner. His name is Mr. John Turner. He made a lot of money in Australia. Then he came back to England. He is a rich man. One of his farms is called Hatherley Farm. A man named Mr. Charles McCarthy lived there. McCarthy also came from Australia. He and Turner were old friends, so they lived near each other. McCarthy had one son. His name was James McCarthy. He was 18 years old. Turner had one daughter. She was also 18. Both men did not have wives. They did not mix much with other English families. But both McCarthys liked sports and horse races. McCarthy had 2 servants, a man and a woman. Turner had about 6 servants. Holmes continued the story. On Monday, June 3rd, Charles McCarthy left his farm at 3 in the afternoon. He walked to BOSCOMBE Pool. This is a small lake in the valley. In the morning, he was in the town of Ross with his servant. He told the servant, "I must hurry. I have an important meeting at 3. He never came back. 2 people saw him walk to the pool. One was an old woman. The other was William Crowder. Crowder was a gamekeeper who worked for Turner. Crowder said, "I saw McCarthy walk past alone. A few minutes later, I saw his son James. James had a gun. He walked in the same direction. I think the father was still in front." Near the pool, there is a small forest. A girl named Patience Moran was there. She was 14 years old. She was the daughter of the lodge keeper. She was picking flowers in the woods. She saw the 2 McCarthys near the lake. They were arguing. The old man was shouting. The son raised his hand as if he wanted to hit his father. The girl was afraid. She ran home and told her mother. But then James McCarthy ran to the lodge. He said, "My father is dead. Help me." He was without his gun and hat. His hand and sleeve had blood on them. People went with James. They found Charles McCarthy dead on the ground near the pool. His head had many heavy blows. Near the body, they found James's gun. The police arrested James immediately. The court said it was murder. James was sent to prison. Watson shook his head. "This looks very bad for the son," he said. "The evidence is very strong against him." "Yes," said Holmes quietly, "but evidence can trick us. If you look at the same facts from a different angle, they can mean something completely different. There is a young woman named Miss Turner. She is the daughter of the rich landowner. She believes James is innocent. She asked a detective named Lestrade to help. Lestrade is confused, so he asked me." Watson smiled. "I think this case is simple," he said. "You will not find much to do," Holmes laughed. "There is nothing more tricky than an obvious fact. And sometimes we find other facts that are not obvious at all. I know you well, Watson. I even know that the window in your bedroom is on the right side." "How do you know that?" asked Watson, very surprised. "You shave every morning by sunlight," said Holmes. "But the left side of your face is not shaved as well as the right, so the light comes from the right. This is a small example of observation. I look at small details. That is my skill, and it may help us here." The train moved west. Outside the window, the English countryside was green and beautiful. Part 2, the investigation begins. The train arrived at Ross. It was nearly 4 o'clock. Watson and Holmes got off the train. A thin man with small, sharp eyes was waiting on the platform. It was Lestrade, a detective from Scotland Yard. He wore a brown coat and leather leggings. He looked like a local man, but Watson recognized him at once. Lestrade drove them to a hotel called the Hereford Arms. They sat down for tea. "I have a carriage ready," said Lestrade. "I know you like to work fast, Holmes. We can go to the crime scene today." Holmes looked out the window. The sky was clear. "The weather is good," he said. "No rain. But I am tired from the journey. I want to rest tonight. I also want to smoke my cigarettes here on this comfortable sofa. We will go tomorrow." Lestrade smiled a little. He thought Holmes was lazy. "I think this case is very clear," he said. "The son killed his father. I am sure of it. But a rich young lady asked me to help, so here we are." Suddenly, the door opened. A young woman came in quickly. She was very beautiful. She had violet eyes and pink cheeks. She was excited and worried. "Mr. Sherlock Holmes," she said. She looked at both men and then fixed her eyes on Holmes. "I am so glad you are here. I am Alice Turner." James did not do this. "I know it. He is kind. He cannot hurt anyone. Please believe me. Please help him." "We will try, Miss Turner," said Holmes calmly. "Do you think he is innocent?" she asked. "I think it is very likely," said Holmes. Miss Turner looked at Lestrade and smiled. Lestrade shook his head. Then Miss Turner said, "James and his father argued a lot about me. Old Mr. McCarthy wanted James to marry me, but James and I are like brother and sister. He did not want to marry yet. So they fought about it many times. I think that is what they argued about that day too." "And your father?" asked Holmes. "Did he want this marriage?" "No. My father did not want it either. Only old Mr. McCarthy wanted it." "I see," said Holmes. "Can I visit your father tomorrow?" Miss Turner looked sad. The doctor says he is very ill. This situation has made him worse. He is in bed now. Mr. McCarthy was his old friend from Australia, from the gold mines in Victoria. Now McCarthy is dead. Father is very shocked, Holmes said quietly. The gold mines. In Victoria. That is interesting. Miss Turner said goodbye and left. The sound of her carriage wheels faded away. Lestrade was not happy. Holmes, he said, you give her hope, but you may disappoint her. That is not kind. I think James McCarthy is innocent, said Holmes simply. Can we visit him in prison tonight? Yes, said Lestrade. I have the papers. Then let us go. Watson, you can stay and rest. We will be back in a couple of hours. Watson stayed at the hotel. He lay on the sofa and tried to read a book, but he could not concentrate. He kept thinking about the case. He thought, if James is innocent, what happened? He left his father alive. Then he heard a scream. He ran back. His father was dying. What happened in those few minutes? Watson was a doctor. He thought about the injuries. The surgeon said the blow was to the back left side of the head. Watson touched the same spot on his own head. He understood. The blow came from behind. That means the killer was behind McCarthy. That is a little bit good for James, because when they argued, they were face to face. Still, James could have moved. Watson also thought about the dying words. McCarthy said something like, rat. What did that mean? A dying man does not usually speak nonsense. He was trying to say something, but what? In the gray cloth, James said he saw something gray on the ground near his father. Then it was gone. Did the killer come back and take it? That was very brave, or very dangerous. Watson could not solve the mystery, but he trusted Holmes completely. Holmes came back late. He sat down and said, the sky is still clear. Good. We can examine the ground tomorrow. I visited James McCarthy. He told me nothing new. He does not know who killed his father. He is not very clever, but he seems honest and good. What about his feelings for Miss Turner? Asked Watson. Holmes smiled sadly. He loves her deeply. But 2 years ago, when he was just a boy, he made a big mistake. He met a barmaid in Bristol. He married her secretly. Nobody knew. So when his father pushed him to marry Miss Turner, James could not say yes because he was already married. It drove him mad. That is why he raised his hand at his father. Out of frustration, not anger. He was trapped. Watson was surprised. But now, the woman wrote to him. She said she already had a husband in Bermuda, so the marriage was not real. James is now free. That is some comfort for him. But who killed the father? Asked Watson. There are 2 important things, said Holmes. First, McCarthy had a meeting at the pool. He planned to meet someone. It was not James. James was in Bristol. McCarthy did not know James was back. Second, McCarthy shouted "cooey" before he saw James. That means he was calling someone else. Cooey is an Australian call. So the person he was meeting was someone from Australia. Holmes put his finger to his lips. Now, no more tonight. Let us talk about literature. Tomorrow, we will visit the scene.
Подпишись, пожалуйста, или хотя бы поставь лайк. Один лайк не меняет мир, но меняет путь того, кто делится смыслом.